Hello and welcome back to this video. Today we're going to be learning about the SQL injection. Now, why SQL injection? Now, SQL injection is a technique that attackers use on the web to attack our application. Okay, so there are so many ways that these attackers actually attack the application. Okay, but I'm going to be showing you a particular technique that they use to attack our application, and I'm going to be giving you a way out from those kind of attacks that will be coming in to our application to destroy our application or our database. Now, for instance, these attackers can come to our application and go into our input now and have something like this. So we just put something like this and we have drop table. Okay, and they put a semicolon here. So the moment that they click on they click enter, this particular statement can go into our database and destroy our database. Okay, so delete or destroy our database, whichever one you want to use. All right, so the bottom line is that it goes and get everything bad. Now, this particular statement, they have lots of techniques that they use to actually destroy our database. It's not just centered on this. They have so many techniques that they use to do that. Okay, now this video is to help you clean and sanitize your data that is coming into the input, to help you to clean and sanitize them. All right, now before we move on, PHP has actually given us a function to help us to actually sanitize data coming in from our inputs. Now the function name is mysqli _we _escape _string. Okay, now if you have this function on your input, any data coming in from your input, that function helps you to clean and sanitize that data. Okay, and send the data to the database. So you can't having something statements like this cannot actually drop your database if you have that particular function in place. Now before we move on, I want to show you something. Now let me show you something on this. So let's have David's what's that? David's courses are awesome. All right, now I'm going to have something like this. David's courses are awesome. Okay, so just put let's put something else here in the password. So I'll click on the submit button and you see what happens. So click on the submit. Okay, so this gives us a fatal error. Now the reason why this error is coming up here is because, let's go back, is because of this quote. Okay, this little quote here is the reason why this data cannot successfully go into our database. All right, now this particular function will help us to clean up this data. Okay, so that anytime we are having this particular kind of data and having this character, this quote and characters, it helps us to clean it up. Okay, and send those data to the database. Okay, so even though there are other techniques that these attackers are actually using to destroy our database, it cleans those statements, it cleans it up, and anytime they send those particular statements, it's not going to destroy our database because that function has helped us to clean everything up. Okay, so that's what this video is all about. I want to show you how to clean up the data coming into your input so that you won't have all these kind of errors on your application. All right, so just sit tight and let's move on. Let me show you how to do this. All right, now let's move on. Firstly, let's go down here and do something. So I'm going to include that function that we have. So we have mysqli _we _escape _string. All right, so we close it up here. Okay, so we're going to have a parenthesis. All right, so two parameters will be passed into this particular parenthesis here. Number one, we're going to be passing the database. Okay, so we're going to be having the connection variable, which is actually connecting our DB to this particular file. So we're going to have connection here. Okay. Now, if we go down to, let me show you where the connection is actually coming from. So we have db.php right here. So I have connection right here. Okay, so connecting our database. Okay, so we really need to pass that into that particular function. So the second parameter we're going to be having here is the username. So I've just come here and copy this up. Okay, and I'll paste it here. All right, now we are going to copy and paste this down. So next one, I'm going to bring in the password right here. Okay, now after doing this, okay, so we successfully sanitized the code right there. So we have to pass it to our variable. Okay, so we're going to create a variable. So we're still using the same variable that we used for the initial code. It is username and password. We're going to be using that. So we have username as the variable, then we're going to assign that. Okay, so the second one we're going to use in password, and we assign that here. All right, so what we are actually having here is the real deal, and we are good to go and test our application. All right, okay, so what really happens here is whenever a data comes in, okay, now this real escape string, SQL real escape string goes, the data comes in here and is sanitized using this particular function. That data is sanitized. Okay, so the next thing that happens here, the data now is good to go into our application after the data has been sanitized using this particular function. Okay, so it's successfully, it's free to go into our application without having any errors. Okay, now let's go and test this code. All right, so I'm still going to be using, okay, we have an error on line 9. Okay, let's go check that out quickly. Let's go check that out. An error on line 9. Oh, okay, we forgot to put a semicolon. So let's please put a semicolon here. Very important, please. And let me wrap my code so we can see this properly. Okay, so don't forget to put a semicolon at the end of the to expression. All right, so let's move on, and let's go back and create that. Okay, so I'm going to be using the David's. Oh, sorry. David courses are great. All right. Okay, so just put some words, some nonsense word on password, and I will click on submit. Okay, so we see that record create. Now we are free to go to our database to check truly if the record actually went in there. All right, let's move on. I'm so excited to do this, so let's do that. So we're just going to go to localhost my php my admin. Okay, then go down to where you have your table. Okay, so I have David courses are great already in here, and you see our password here. So just to clear our doubts, let's go back to our code, and let me comment on this. Okay, so I love clearing our doubt and all the stuff, and then I'll just come here and reload. Okay, all right, just come there and reload this stuff, and I'll just say Peter's courses are awesome. All right, just put a password here. Okay, then click on submit. All right, it gives us an error. Okay, so let's go back to our code and then bring in that same let's go back to our code and uncomment on this. All right, so let's go and reload this. All right, so we just put that Peter's courses are awesome, and we do this again. Then we click on submit. All right, so you see that the record has been created. So we go back to our database. So just come down here. So we have localhost /php my admin. Then we will load this particular page, and we wait there to see if the record is already there. Okay, now the record is right there. Okay, so that is how to actually sanitize our code using the MySQLi underscore read underscore escape underscore string. Now there is no how your attackers can actually drop your code, your database, or do anything crazy on your input if you have this particular function on your application. So that is all you need to know. So the next thing we're going to be doing is password encryption. All right, so just stay tight and let's move on.